Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. It's the first time you've seen me. My name is Emeka, the Chief Priest, also known as Master Chukwemeka, and your regular host. On this channel, I discuss spiritual tips and how people live a spiritual active life. If you're watching me for the first time, please kindly subscribe to this channel. And your reason of subscribing to this channel is so that anytime I post a new video, you'll be updated. As you're subscribing to this channel, kindly turn on your notification bell. Today, I want to talk about many Africans that are living in the diaspora. That's my major area of discussion today. My area of concentration today is about Africans that are living in the diaspora, Africans that are living outside Africa. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because of my interactions with so many Africans that are outside Africa, that are living in the diaspora. So many of them are going through one issue of the other. Some of them are the ones that are having problem with their visa. Some of them that are yet to fulfill their visa obligation. Some of them that are yet to have their papers, their complete papers, for them to have a permanent residency in those countries that they traveled to. So that is why I decided to bring up this topic today. And I'm telling you that are watching me now, if you're in Africa, that you're living in the Caribbean, or in the United States, or in the United Kingdom, or in Europe, or any part of the world that you are living, and you're finding difficulty of finding your footing there, this is what you should do. Find a spiritual altar that will speak for you. Find a spiritual altar that will be your backup, because this what you are seeing here is not only material. There's a spiritual part of this world. The only thing is that you are always concentrated on the material. There's the physical part of this earth, or this planet earth. But the spiritual part is the one that you don't know much about. And we, as a spiritualist, I can see further than you. Before something happens, it must be revealed to many of us that are spiritualists. Before any incident happens, or any tragic event will occur, we will be informed first. You have a spiritual altar that becomes your backup. Before you do anything, or before you go to submit any application, before you go to submit any document, or do anything that will involve your future, your life, your career, you must have a spiritual backup. That spiritual backup is the one that speaks for you. Because the altar we're talking about, there's no boundary when it comes to spirituality. Spirituality does not know anything like boundary, like, the visa application, you must have this, but no. Spirituality does not have any boundary. Somebody can be here and command something, and it will get to another location and it will happen. That is why you need a spiritualist, a spiritual mentor that backs anything you are doing. Before you go into anything, you must inform your spiritualist, your mentor, or your spiritual leader. If you inform your spiritual leader before you embark on anything, either you want to sign a business contract, or you want to engage in any business discussion, or anything that may make you end up being in the prison, that's document that you may sign that will end up leading you being arrested. That's where you need a spiritual backup. This is not a joke. This is not something you should play with. For some of you that have left the jail cell, you know what I'm talking about. Some of you that have been released after being jailed for something that you didn't do, that is when you know that spiritual help is needed. Some of you might be going into a deal that you don't know anything about. That is what we're saying. Anything like unforeseen circumstances is good to prevent them from happening, instead of you being a victim of circumstances. So everything is not all about wealth. It's not all about accumulation of wealth. It's about your safety. It's about your protection. That is where you need spiritual backup, mostly about protection. So you might be signing a deal, or you might be going into a contract that will end, that you find yourself behind bars. for something that you don't know anything about. You might be involved in a crime scene that you don't know anything about. You might be involved in someone's death that you don't know anything about. Somebody may lure you or include you in something that you don't know anything about. So that is why you need the services of a spiritualist. Before you do anything, you make inquiries. Is this spiritualist that will tell you go ahead or don't go ahead, so that you will be able to prevent yourself being a victim of circumstances. I'll give you a story. I boarded a bus recently. I traveled. So while I was in that bus, we didn't know that there was an illicit drug that were waybill in that were put in that bus to be waybill to the location where we're going to. The law enforcement officers that were in charge of impounding drug peddlers were surrounding our bus as if they were giving information that this bus has items that were illicit. So they stopped us. The driver was begging. The driver didn't even know that they had those items in that bus. They were begging, and at the end of the day, the driver was able to find ways to, settle with them. But then it's still painful on his part because he didn't know that such item was inside that bus. And even me, before I entered, I had a bad dream that night before that day of entering that bus. But I didn't take that dream seriously. So what happened was that at that point when they were battling with those officers, I came out of the bus, I took my kola nut, I took my alligator pepper, I started speaking to my forces. And not quite long, not up to 20 minutes after I finished my incantations and my prayers, the man was released. And I went directly to the conductor and I told the conductor that this bus was released because I intervened. And he was surprised. I showed him, I told him my identity. I said, I'm not an ordinary person. That if I had followed this, what I did now earlier on, wouldn't have even been arrested. But nobody knew that something like that was inside our bus. That was why the bus was impounded. So that's why I'm telling you that unforeseen circumstances might not happen because you expected it to happen. It happened because someone else may want to put you in trouble. Someone else's business may end up putting you yourself in trouble without you knowing. That's why it's good for us to have, spiritual exercises going on to prevent unforeseen circumstances. So that is why I'm trying to tell you, if you are an African living in the diaspora, wherever you are, make sure you have a spiritual altar that speaks on your behalf, that becomes your backup. And all you have to be doing is that once in a while, you can send money for things to be bought in your name. And when your name is mentioned in that sacred temple, that's how it goes, that's how it operates. That every now and then, they need to be calling your name. Even if it's once a month, you can be able to send a token. They use that token, buy an item in your name. It could be anything, just to make sure your name is being mentioned, so that it becomes a protective and a preventive measure for you not to become a victim of circumstances. I know what I'm saying. There's so many people may end up finding themselves in situations that they didn't plan for. They will be roped into situations that they didn't plan for because they were not, protected spiritually. So that is why you need a spiritual altar that backs you up. And some of you that are struggling to meet up with your visa requirements, or having to have a permanent residency where you are in those countries that you find yourself in, you need a spiritual backup. That's all I'm saying. You need a spiritual backup, a strong spiritual backup. And this is not you going to break the bank or to go and collect loan. No. That's not what you should do. From the little that you're making, some of you that are working, doing hard labor, you can, find a way of putting yourself together and invest in spirituality. And I'll tell you, any investment done in spirituality can never be a loss. If you're watching this video, like I stated earlier, if you're watching for the first time, kindly subscribe to this channel and make sure you're following any update that we're bringing in. And in case you have any question concerning what I've just said here, because I don't want this video to be long, you can chat me in my WhatsApp. If in case you want to do any spiritual consultation, we'll call it Alpha consultation. Alpha, Alpha, to make spiritual inquiry. You can chat me on this same number, this WhatsApp number 09040113281. The number on your screen, you're seeing on this screen here. Chat me on this WhatsApp number, then we'll be able to have that conversation to know what you're going through in your life currently, and we'll see how we can be able to deal with it. So thank you for stopping by. Yagasi.